interesting insight from when I was working with Michael Gerber, the man in the hat just there. Part of his business, he writes books that are vertical related books. So he's got the E-Myth for accountants, E-Myth for realtors, E-Myth for lawyers. So he's got these series of books and he tailor makes them, and what he does is he finds a co-author in that space. He works with them to tailor the message for that vertical, and then part of the process is he'll then help them launch that book and then take it out to the market. Then it just folds in underneath his banner and helps to elevate that co-author's brand. What I found really interesting was the way that he does things, particularly when it came to launching my book. He found an expert who knew how to do something really, really well. He worked with them. He got them, me, to document the process that I used for launching a book. And then he ingested that system, and now they have a system that they can then sell as an upsell service for those people who co-author books for him. Now he can say, as an upsell, we'll help you launch the book on Amazon as well as write it. So you don't have to have the knowledge on how to do something. That knowledge is out there. You just don't ask how do you do something, ask who knows how to do that thing and work with them to extract that out of their brain. And I think, if you approach it like that, most of the problems that you're having in business have already been solved elsewhere. It's just a matter of finding out who that person is that knows how to solve it, working with them, getting it documented, and then that builds into your business. Your business is a collection of systems. That is where the asset is. That is the real value of your business. And as business owners, you're collecting system-based solutions to solve problems in your business. Regardless of what business you're working in now, you'll be able to take that to every single business that you end up working on. Because the vast majority of systems from business to business are actually very similar. The main difference is in operations, but the way that you get leads, the way that you sell leads, the way that you handle your finances, pay wages, hire staff, onboarding, all of those systems are the same. So you're building up an asset now that you can take to every single business that you work in or own and deploy them very quickly. So it becomes a very valuable asset. I had that idea dropped in my head from Michael Gerber, and I thought, oh, what an interesting thought. And I started to think, how could I always look for the shortcut as a business owner. I'm trying to think of what is the quickest way to get the result in the least possible moves. So I thought, why don't I create a podcast where I know what problems I'm having in my business right now? Why don't I go out and find people who have already solved that problem, and then I get them to share with me the step-by-step process they go through to do it. One of the very first ones I did, we wanted to put out a podcast and do it consistently. So I found someone who was putting out a regular podcast, and I interviewed them on the process. I got them to come on my podcast, a bit meta there, to talk about podcasting. And we talked about the step-by-step, and then I took that process or that recording, I gave it to my team, they documented it, and then that turned into our system and process for the way that we podcast. And then I went through this thing where I just started to systematically pick off problems or things that I was trying to solve in the business. I'd interview the person, I'd turn it into a system and process, and then that would become part of the way that we do things. But that wasn't enough for me. I thought, how do I do this even quicker? Like, how can I create a positive constraint that forces me to do this all in one go? So I ran a thing called the Business Systems Summit. And I got it started off with 30 speakers, very quickly ballooned to 40. I broke up the summit into the different departments within business. I selected about 5 to 10 people underneath each different department. And I said to them, their brief was, I want you to share one of your best systems and processes that you use in your business in this particular department. And we're going to hop on a Zoom call. I'm going to interview. You're going to take me through step by step how it's done. And then off the back of that, we'll create the step-by-step procedures. And then in one go, because there's nothing like setting a deadline to make things happen. I mean, I set a date for the event, so I had to get all of these recorded. And then I had my team documented off the back end. And that became a really effective way. We very quickly built up a huge collection of best practice systems and processes.
you.